Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for showing up to my speech. Today I'm going to give a speech. I'm going to give you a little information on cell phones, a little bit of a history of cell phones, and then going to go on to how they work a little bit. So the first cell phone was it was invented in 1973. Actually, it was actually a mobile phone, invented by a man named Martin Cooper. He worked for Motorola. It was the first portable mobile phone ever invented. The first cellular network, however, was actually started out in the city of Tokyo in Japan in 1979. It started out, it was just in Tokyo. It covered the whole city. That was funny. Anyway, it covered out the whole city. They had, cell phone coverage over the whole city, and within 5 years, in 1984, the entire country of Japan had cell phone coverage, like, all over. It didn't start here in America. 1981 is when the first cell phone, it was like a trial thing they did in DC for about 2 years. They did a trial thing, and then in 1983 it became a commercial service. Companies started producing cell phones and a cell phone network coverage, and that's when a phone called the Motorola, Motorola Dynatac. It was the first portable, like, handheld phone used in America on a network service. It's also commonly referred to as the Zach Morris phone from Saved by the Bell. Pull out his big, massive cell phone during class and stuff. But anyways, they've come a long ways now from the Zach Morris phone. We have like smartphones nowadays, and a little bit about how those work. Cell phones actually work a lot like radios work. The big difference really is that radios use what's called a simplex system, like where it's you have one channel to send and receive. It's like when you're on your radio, you talk, and you have to stop talking to hear the other person. It's a lot like that, except cell phones use a duplex, so you can send and receive voice at the same time. And that's the big difference with those. And another difference is radios have about 40 different channels they can use, whereas cell phones have around 1,500. And when cell phones are using these channels, they have to have two channels, one channel to send and one channel to receive, which would sound kind of weird because it sounds almost like only 700-800 people can use their cell phone at a time in the world, which doesn't make any sense. And how that works is that they have what's called cells, actually. How is it called? Cellular systems. They're geographical locations, geographical areas, kind of like grid coordinate, grid square kind of things. And within each grid square, there's so many channels, and they're each using the same grid squares. So the same channel can be used all over the nation, all over the world. So you don't have so more people can talk on the phone at the same time. If the phone were to get too close to each other using the same channels, it would cause interference. But they map that stuff out pretty good, so it's probably never really happened to anybody. And another thing I'd like to hit on is a lot of people, probably happened to you, well, probably happens to everybody pretty often. You'll get to an area and you won't have any cell phone coverage at all. So maybe you're wondering, how does this work? Well, what it is that these cells, they're connected by towers, and usually it's in a large rural area. You'll get far away from these towers. You won't be able to send or receive data without them. So then oftenly you'll get out of range of these, you'll get too far, and your phone probably don't see it too much anymore these days, but it'll actually go into roaming. And it used to be like your phone would go into roaming and you get charged extra, and nobody liked that. That's pretty much about how cell phones work. And in conclusion, I just like to say I hope everyone learned a little bit about cell phones. Something we all use every day, pretty commonly, pretty oftenly at least. And I hope you learned a little something about how they work. And I'd like to thank you all for being here for my speech.